Thus Spoke Zarathustra is a philosophical book written by Friedrich Nietzsche. The book follows a prophet named Zarathustra who descends from isolation to save mankind from nihilism and the era of the last man. This book is one of the most important books written on the progression of humanity and a prediction of what is to come. There are 6 main stages a person goes through to reach Zarathustra's goal of the Übermensch, also known as the Superman or Overman. This is a superior being who, according to Nietzsche, will look onto humans how humans look onto apes. These 6 stages are not to be confused with the 3 metamorphoses explained in the book, namely the camel, the lion, and the child. These 6 stages are what a person will have to go through to reach or come close to the Übermensch. The first stage is questioning. Question society and your own beliefs. What do you truly believe and what resonates with you? For example, the virtue of empathy. What situations does society believe you should have empathy, and when do you believe you should have empathy? Society is increasingly moving toward having empathy for almost anything, but is that what you should believe? Why is it good to have more empathy rather than less? Are there situations where you should have less empathy? Do people truly have empathy, or are they just fearful of society? This is one of the many questions one must ask him or herself when deciding their own viewpoints and virtues. The second stage is to reach nihilism. An important aspect of life is spirituality or religion. Nietzsche believed humans created God to give life purpose and escape the suffering of life and to avoid nihilism. Nietzsche famously said, "God is dead. Now that God is dead and we have lost our foundation, what values do we adopt?" The destruction of the Christian ethos is what led to the era of the last man described in Thus Spoke Zarathustra. The era of the last man is an era where people no longer create, they consume and indulge in empty pleasure. Since life has no ultimate purpose, there is no reason to do anything meaningful and people resort to pleasure. However, the belief that God is dead, or God doesn't exist, doesn't have to be your opinion. In fact, in the story, Zarathustra tells his followers to question what Zarathustra said as he could be deceiving them. Do you believe in a higher power, or is that pushed on you? If you don't, you may reach a state of nihilism where life has no ultimate purpose. The third stage is amor fati, also meaning love of fate. Embrace a life-affirming attitude, accept life for its good and its suffering. An idea of Nietzsche was eternal reoccurrence, or that over an infinite period of time, everything occurs infinitely. In the book, Nietzsche also poses the question, if someone were to come to you and say, you must now live your life infinitely over and over, would you be happy with this? Choose your pleasures, but also choose your suffering. Suffering that is meaningful and aids your process of creating something. Embrace life, don't try to escape it with empty pleasures. The fourth stage is to decide on what is important for you and to understand yourself. No one out there can tell you what you should be doing. Not your parents, not society, not your friends, and not Friedrich Nietzsche. Only you. What you think is important or good is different than someone else. What do you enjoy? What do you not enjoy? What are you willing to suffer for in order to experience or attain? What do you think are virtues and what do you think are vices? What are you doing that is holding you back from your true self? What must you destroy about yourself in order to move toward what you think is good? These questions must be thought out intensely. Question your motives. I would always believe I'm reacting a certain way for a good reason, for the good of someone else or good of society. But once I thought about it, a voice in my head would tell me, no, you think that because you are selfish, or you think that because you have a big ego. We tend to default that our motives are good, but don't assume your motives are good. Be honest with yourself. Accept all parts of yourself unless they are interfering with your progress toward freeing from society and creating what you find meaningful. In other words, becoming the Übermensch. If they are getting in the way of that, they must be destroyed. The fifth stage is to experience loneliness. The road to being free is difficult and you will be shunned by the herd. The herd will despise you for going your own way rather than the way that they think you should go. Being alone is also a testament to your will and strength. Can you bear the suffering of being alone, the suffering of not being accepted by society? When that voice creeps in to tell you to rejoin the herd, will you? The sixth and final stage is to be free and attain the will to power. You don't answer to anyone now. If you don't believe in God, you no longer answer to Him. You no longer answer to society. You no longer answer to your parents. You are free to do what you want and create what you want. The will to power is power and dominance. Nietzsche was more interested in an internal will to power, power over yourself. You are no longer bound by the internal forces, and you can withstand the outside forces. You abandon empty pleasure and become a creator. You create your environment. You create what you think is good or meaningful. You will be seen as a star to others who cannot help but surround you and revere you. For example, Friedrich Nietzsche was shunned by society. His ideas were not well received at the time, but later after his death, he is revered and his ideas are studied intensely. Your creations can benefit humanity. You can enjoy all aspects of life, are in a constant flux of questioning, creating, and destroying.